faithfully conveying value, interpreting great books worldwide. Hello, this is Sally's Book Talk. Today's book is Life's Nirvana, subtitled The Way of Animal Death. The author, Bernd Heinrich, is a renowned American zoologist and science writer. Since childhood, he's been fascinated by nature, especially unique research on insect and bird behavior. A seriously ill friend wrote to him, "I want a green funeral, no burial," because modern human funerals present a peculiar approach to death. This letter inspired Heinrich to explore a fascinating topic. How does nature handle death? Thus began Heinrich's field research journey. Life's Nirvana documents his findings. Edward Wilson, father of biodiversity, called Heinrich one of our era's finest naturalists. This book shines with authenticity and originality, revealing life's uniqueness in natural history. From insects to predators, fish to flowers, death constantly occurs in nature. Yet individual death isn't an end, it fuels new life. Heinrich unveils this ever-renewing world. I'll interpret the book in 4 parts. First, how do land animals handle carcasses? Third, how are dead plants processed? Second, how do aquatic death rules differ from land animals? Fourth, how do humans participate in nature's life cycle? Since land is life's primary habitat, let's begin in the forest. On land, carcasses are handled by professional scavengers, decomposers. Scavengers specialize in consuming corpses. Nature assigns specialists to each decomposition stage. Different scavenging methods interlock with precise, efficient division of labor. First, the simplest method: scavengers directly consuming carcasses as food. Once, deep in the woods, Heinrich found a freshly dead moose, its carcass drawing scavenging birds. Oh, scavenging birds like vultures and ravens are the sky undertakers, soaring over forests and grasslands. They often patrol the skies, specializing in eating medium to large animal carcasses. As the author puts it, they're performing sky burials for the deceased animals. Well, among them, vultures are the most common sky undertakers. Vultures are pretty big, and they've got this crop thing in their throat to stash food so they can gulp down a lot and save it for later. So, yeah, a flock of vultures can polish off a big carcass real quick. Vultures mostly hang out in warmer places. Now, ravens, on the other hand, are the top scavengers in the chilly northern hemisphere. Oh, in Maine winters, lots of dead, wild, and farm animals wind up in ravens' stomachs. Animals that can't make it through winter get ripped open by other mammals with their sharp teeth. And, then the ravens start their feast. They fly off with chunks of meat bit by bit, and in just 2 weeks, a whole ton cow gets picked clean by ravens. Even though ravens are big birds, next to a cow, they're still pretty tiny. Can they really eat a whole cow? Actually, they don't eat it at all. The ravens are just trying to grab as much meat as they can before it goes bad, saving it for later. They'll use their beaks to dig little holes in the dirt, stash the meat inside, and cover it up with blood or pebbles. Around a carcass, you'll see a bunch of ravens gathering and flying off everywhere to hide their food. It's quite a sight. Nature's rule is, don't waste good meat. Even if it's hidden far away and scattered, someone might sniff it out. It could get stolen by other critters like coyotes or squirrels. So, ravens' work doesn't just feed them, it also feeds other animals out in the freezing cold that need meat for energy. Most scavenger birds and mammals are all about fresh kills. They chow down on the good stuff. Then, as the body rots, other scavengers like insects show up. These insects can't handle big carcasses like the tough birds do. Instead, they get smart, using leftover bits or smaller bodies to breed and multiply. Oh, the stink of a rotting deer carcass pulls in hundreds of blowflies. Blowflies are these flashy colored flies, often green ones, that swarm in and start mating and laying eggs like crazy. A female blowfly can lay over 100 eggs at once. In less than a day, these eggs hatch into larvae, maggots, that swarm over the carcass. The maggots secrete proteases to digest the carcass's rich proteins, rapidly consuming nutrients to grow and metabolize. Their metabolic activity raises the carcass temperature, which further accelerates their own development. So after pupating and emerging as adults, in 2 to 3 weeks, the maggots become mature blowflies, continuing the cycle for the next generation. Their lightning-fast reproduction and growth allow blowflies to dominate carcasses quickly, winning this battle for resources. Unlike blowflies, beetles prefer nesting and breeding in smaller animal carcasses. To study beetle scavenging, the author conducted an experiment, placing a dead mouse on the ground. Soon, burying beetles were drawn to the scent of decay. After finding a suitable carcass, the male beetle releases pheromones from its abdomen to summon a female. They meet at the carcass and immediately begin mating. Then they search for soft soil to dig a burial site, clipping onto their backs and slowly moving the carcass together. After burying the mouse, the female lays eggs nearby. Since larvae take time to hatch, the parents secrete antimicrobials to delay decay. Days later, hatched larvae crawl onto the carcass. The parents regurgitate meat to feed them until they can penetrate the skin and feed independently. Soon after, the male beetle emerges to find another carcass and raise another brood. So, blowflies and burying beetles exist worldwide. Where death occurs, they appear. Their Greek name means lover of death, but lover of life fits better, since they create new life from death. While eco-romantic, when moose or mice carcasses become mere skeletons, bacteria, the final decomposers, take center stage. Though bacteria sound scary and cause human diseases, most in nature are harmless. They complete carcass breakdown and enable nutrient cycling. Unlike scavengers, bacteria lack limbs for grabbing food or digestive organs for processing it. Each bacterium lives as an independent cell. They densely cling to carcass debris, secreting enzymes that break down large organic molecules into smaller ones, then absorb nutrients to reproduce through cell division every few dozen minutes. Through scavenging, the matter and energy in dead animals get recycled, nourishing and creating more life throughout the ecosystem. It's nature's most efficient resource utilization system. The ecosystem's brilliance extends to animal waste. Even feces become precious resources. Dung beetles are professional waste processors. With tough exoskeletons, they tunnel through compact soil. On Tanzania's grasslands, elephants move along consuming vegetation, leaving basketball-sized dung piles in their wake. At night, rustling signals hundreds of dung beetles swarming toward the dung. Much like burying beetles with carcasses, males roll dung into balls, laboriously pushing them underground. Females cling to dung balls while mating occurs in the burrows. Since dung has fewer nutrients than carcasses, beetles lay single eggs. The dung ball incubates eggs and feeds larvae. By next year, emerged adults seek fresh dung. The depleted waste transforms into soil. Undigested seeds and dung get dispersed, taking root in new locations. So, dung beetles recycle resources, fertilize soil, and propagate plants, vital ecological services. Whether scavengers or dung processors, all animal energy originates from plants. Unlike animals, plants don't decompose corpses. Except specialists like Venus flytraps, they don't consume organic matter, but create it from sunlight, water, minerals, and CO2. This organic matter fuels plant growth and nourishes herbivores. The death of trees, no blood splattering, no stench of decay. In the woods, some saplings die when shaded by taller trees or starved of soil nutrients. For mature trees, insect infestations or logging often mark the beginning of their end. So, how are dead plants processed? Well, animals and bacteria still come to the rescue. While building a cabin in Maine's woods, the author cut down some pine trees. During the logging, longhorn beetles kept landing on the fir trees. Using their long antennae to find fresh wood, they bore into stumps. Larvae chew through bark into deep timber, leaving tunnels and frass. Within a year, the wood teemed with mature larvae, pupae, and adult beetles. Different species choose different trees, creating unique feeding tunnel patterns. Longhorn beetle tunnels are mostly excavated by the larvae themselves, but bark beetles collaborate. Adults and larvae work together on tunnels. Males drill initial holes, then females enter these bridal chambers. After mating, females radiate outward from the chamber, carving new tunnels. They lay eggs along these tunnels. Hatched larvae then dig vertical side tunnels, creating a starburst pattern. Beyond beetles, hymenopterans, like bees, ants, and wasps, also raise wood-eating larvae. After these insects emerge, their abandoned tunnels house new insects, attracting birds like woodpeckers and chickadees. Rotting wood also provides nest sites. Over 1/3 of forest birds depend on dead trees for insects and nesting branches. Fungi and bacteria introduced by insects accelerate decay. Once rooted in dead wood, fungi decompose most timber, converting nutrients into visible fruiting bodies. Mushrooms and wood ear fungus we eat are such fruiting bodies. Actinobacteria also degrade wood as trees gradually sink into soil. Fallen leaves cover down logs, mixing with rotten wood and soil. Bacteria decompose this into organic matter called humus. Thus, nutrients from trees and leaves return to the earth, forming soil that continuously nourishes new growth and brings endless vitality to forests. So, even in death and decay, trees provide sustenance for other life. Plant death plays a vital role in sustaining terrestrial ecosystems. We've seen that on land, death rules through scavenging, efficiently recycling matter to create new life. As land dwellers, we naturally associate death with burial. This connection stems from the very ground we inhabit. But since oceans and rivers cover most of Earth, do land-based death rules apply to aquatic animals? Let's explore the life and death stories of whales and salmon. Most marine creatures are processed by other organisms right in the sea. Whales are among the ocean's largest species. A whale's natural cycle begins near the surface, where weakened ones become easy prey for orcas. After orcas feast, blood attracts sharks that swarm to tear open the carcass and devour organs. As air escapes its lungs, the carcass sinks into dark, cold waters, teeming with deep-sea scavengers, specialized in consuming remains from above. These creatures often look bizarre, evolving large eyes or bioluminescent organs due to minimal light. After sinking kilometers, the whale finally rests on the frigid seabed, where hagfish, crabs, and amphipods gather for a feast. This stage can last months or years, until soft tissues are consumed, leaving only bones that bacteria colonize. These bacteria break down remaining fats and nutrients, attracting benthic animals that feed on them, such as limpets, sea snails, and worms. Thus, a whale fall, composed of the carcass and benthic life, becomes a biodiverse island, forming a unique mini ecosystem. In a single whale fall, the author documented over 400 benthic species, tens of thousands of organisms decomposing the carcass, a process lasting decades or even centuries. Unlike most marine fish, salmon have a unique life-death narrative. Their epic migration begins in lakes, flowing downstream to mature in the ocean before returning as adults. As adults, they battle hundreds of kilometers upstream to birthplace rivers where grizzlies ambush them. When salmon run thick, grizzlies selectively rip skin to devour only fat-rich brains and ovaries. You might call this wasteful, but this selective feeding actually provisions other animals. Scavengers like gulls gather near hunting bears. Upon homecoming, salmon spawn rapidly deteriorate and die where they release eggs. Though some get eaten pre-spawn, most die naturally afterward, consumed by gulls, vultures, ravens, and raccoons. With scavengers' help, salmon become nutrient parcels, delivering nitrogen and phosphorus from sea to forests, directly fueling tree growth. Thus, salmon fatten bears and fortify forests. In return, tree roots anchor watersheds that create ideal salmon spawning grounds. Through salmon migration's perspective, ocean and land ecosystems interconnect, independent yet interdependent. Beyond fish, oceans swarm with plankton like single-celled algae, key fish food. Their remains settle as sediment. Since Cretaceous times, plankton and mollusk deposits fossilized through chemical processes. For example, soil silica originates from diatoms, limestones, calcium carbonate from plankton skeletons, corals, and crinoids. Thus, marine life shapes landforms, geology, and soil composition. We're literally living atop the remains of ancient marine life from geological epochs past. From land to sea, animals to plants, death is never an end. Every organic life form gets reborn in another shape. Individual death sustains life's continuity. One life begets another. That's what life's nirvana means. And aren't humans woven into this very web of life and death in nature? Finally, let's explore how humans participate in nature's life cycle. On one hand, our bodies evolved from early marine organisms. Even our mitochondria, the cell's energy factories, originated from ancient bacteria. On the other hand, early humans were both hunters and scavengers. Chimps already hunt cooperatively. Inventions like stone tools, axes, bows, and spears boosted hunting efficiency against swift, massive prey. Humans became Earth's only species to sustainably hunt elephants, for instance. Beyond hunting, early humans consumed naturally dead animals. Fire-cooked meat enhanced nutrition, freeing energy for brain growth, while shrinking digestive organs. As bodies and intellects evolved, humans entered societal evolution. We harnessed energy from coal and oil to invent advanced tools. These fossil fuels come from eons of decayed organisms, mostly plants. Thus, the author calls humans ultimate recyclers, perched atop nature's life-death cycle. Yet, as beneficiaries, humans disrupt this balance through insatiable resource demands. Seeking more food, humans slaughtered animals en masse. From Africa to America, megafauna vanished swiftly wherever humans arrived. Large, easily hunted species went extinct first. Take giant tortoises. Slow-moving and easily collected, they became effortless prey for early humans. Today, Africa's giant tortoises are nearly extinct. And once humans got weapons, the mammoths on the savanna vanished too. Giant sloths and bison in America were hunted to extinction.
In this human-driven extinction wave, scavengers got hit especially hard.
Humans slaughtered massive numbers of ungulates, the primary food source for scavengers. We erased wildlife from ecosystems, replacing them with livestock or converting habitats to farmland, pushing scavengers toward oblivion. Agricultural expansion brought heavy chemical use. Since the 1990s, white-backed vultures, once Earth's most abundant raptors, plummeted in numbers. They ate livestock treated with anti-inflammatory drugs, medicine that cured cattle but caused vulture kidney failure. Even tiny drug doses proved fatal to entire vulture colonies. Extinctions happen silently while humans misunderstand scavengers, blaming them as killers or competitors. Herders especially resent nature recycling their stock, believing scavengers deserve punishment. So, some herders poison carcasses to kill multiple scavengers at once. For ecosystems, scavengers are irreplaceable. They clean and redistribute life matter, keeping natural systems balanced and vibrant. The decline and extinction of scavengers creates cascading ecological disasters.
We must realize Earth is one interconnected life system. Humans aren't isolated rulers.
Only by respecting and protecting nature can it safeguard our home. Now back to the author's original letter about burial. Has your perspective shifted? Author Bernd Heinrich planned his own funeral. He said, "Use my organs if needed, otherwise feed my heart to ravens and bury me in the woods."
Because he wants to join Earth's grandest celebration, life's nirvana.
Finally, let's wrap up this journey through life and death. On land, animal remains get efficiently recycled by scavengers. Dead plants create habitats for insects and birds while forming soil. In oceans, deceased fish feed deep-sea scavengers and riverside animals. Dead plankton build geological strata. Through this recycling, all things experience nirvana rebirth. Nature thrives endlessly. Yes, life's nirvana. That concludes our interpretation of this book. Reading notes are below the audio. See you next time. This episode ends here.